and discover more about themselves and growing their company. These skills are critical for creating normal citizens of tomorrow. This year, student trips are planned to Spain, Eastern Europe, and Ireland, and Scotland. Students who successfully complete the IGE pathway requirements are eligible to apply for the Connecticut Certificate of Global Engagement. Students can also apply their project to their capstone requirements for graduation. ADHD Awareness Month, October 2023. The Norwalk Board of Education is proud to recognize the month of October as ADHD Awareness Month. October is dedicated to raising awareness around attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, which affects millions around the world. This month provides the opportunity to educate, advocate, and support the adults and children who live with ADHD. ADHD is a neurodevelopmental disorder affecting 11% of school-aged children. Symptoms continue into adulthood in more than 3/4 of cases. ADHD is characterized by developmentally inappropriate levels of attention, impulsivity, and hyperactivity. ADHD is a problem with the brain's self-management system towards the executive function, which can affect not only children, but many teenagers and adults too. Executive functions involve getting organized and efforts for work, managing alertness and emotional interference, utilizing short terms working memory, and managing one's action and excessive activity. Individuals with ADHD can be very successful in life. However, without identification and proper treatment, ADHD may have serious consequences, including school failure, family stress and disruption, depression, problems with relationships, substance abuse, delinquency, accidental injuries, and job failure. Early identification and treatment are extremely important. By declaring this ADHD Awareness Month, the Board of Education is committed to bringing greater awareness to our students that are living with ADHD, reducing the stigma around ADHD, encouraging early intervention for ADHD, and supporting families who need guidance or resources. Bullying prevention.
The Norwalk Board of Education is proud to recognize the month of October as National Bullying Prevention Month. National Bullying Prevention Month is an important time to elevate the conversation about addressing and preventing bullying of K-12 children and youth. PACER founded MBPN in 2006 as a week-long event. 4 years later, it became a month-long event. PACER defines bullying as the aggressive use of power, targeting another person or group of people with repeated, unwanted words or action, hurting them emotionally or physically. Bullying impacts the education, health, and safety of K-12 youth. To bring further awareness to bullying prevention, Norwalk Public Schools will celebrate Unity Day on October 18th. Students and staff are encouraged to wear and share the color orange to unite for kindness, acceptance, and inclusion, to send a visible message that no child should ever experience bullying. Bullying is a common form of violence for youth. 1 in 5 students nationally report they have been bullied. The issue affects not only the youth who were bullied, but those who witness it, who say the behavior impacts them as well. Witnesses to bullying report feeling less safe, helpless to stop it, and intimidated. Plus, youth who bully are at a greater risk for adverse physical or emotional health or issues with the legal system. Bullying can happen anywhere. It is not just a school issue. Bullying can happen wherever youth come together, such as at youth groups, athletic and academic competitions, neighborhoods, and online. Ignoring bullying will not make it go away. Silence and inaction are not acceptable responses to bullying. Everyone needs to be empowered with options for responding to bullying situations. The Norwalk Board of Education is committed to creating an educational environment that is physically, emotionally, and intellectually safe, and thus free from bullying, teen dating violence, harassment, and discrimination. By declaring this Bullying Prevention Month, the Board of Education acknowledges that everyone's actions matter and we all have a role to play in bullying prevention. Now more than ever, it is crucial to join together in creating a world that is kinder, more accepting, and more inclusive. And that is our spotlight for this evening.
Thank you, Sharon. That's a lot to read, but all great information. So we're moving forward to public comments. Is there anybody signed in? There was no public comments email. Anybody online that would wish to make a public comment?
We have Stephen Armstrong here from the State Department of Education for our program.
Good evening. My name is Steve Armstrong. I'm the social studies consultant for the Connecticut State Department of Education. And we sponsor every year a recognition program, as you've heard, called the Global Competency Certificate Program. And the Connecticut State Social Studies standards would say, we want students to be involved as local citizens. Shouldn't students be aware of the problems and be engaged in problems that exist in Norwalk? That's important. We want students to be national citizens and be aware and engaged in national issues. But equally important, we want students to be globally engaged. And our program was designed to recognize individual students from different schools in Connecticut, that they would get the Global Competency Certificate. However, when we started to read some certificates that some projects that were coming in for Norwalk, our selection committee, by the way, which is made up of university professors, high school and middle school teachers, and people in the civic community, that committee had, for the last 2 years, has been blown away by the work. I mean, I would say, and I'm not just saying this to be a nice guy because I drove to Norwalk from Hartford, although I could say that, I guess, but no. But you know what? The work that's been done through this program at Norwalk High School is statewide superior to any entries that we have. So what I'd like to do, and Caitlin Engel is the director of the Interdisciplinary Global Engagement Program. And what I would like to do is, Caitlin, present you with this from the Connecticut State Department of Education. Connecticut State Department of Education Program of Excellence, Norwalk High School Interdisciplinary Global Engagement Program, 2021-22, 2022-23, Ms. Caitlin Engel, Program Coordinator. And they already say that they're working on their 2020, 22, 23 application, so that's good from her. But it was really, everyone in this room should be proud of this program and the kids that have been involved in this program, because they've done fine. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have some of the students here. So Alejandro, if you could please stand up. Amelia, Olivia, Val, if you guys could stand up. These are some of the students that have been working on projects and have completed some and are going to be doing more projects as well. So we have some repeater. So I'd like to thank them for all of their hard work. They've done an excellent job, and they are such strong representatives for Norwalk as a community in the global community. So thanks, guys.
Round two also, please. We can go through it.
Sir.
Can I have you guys
Guys, we practiced for this on tour so many times.
All right.
This is great.
So many times.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yes.
I'm sure we can clear. We have someone joining us.
Yes. Another one is maybe.
So can I have you do that again?
Nick, put this in my video,
She's trying to get that video.
which I'm trying to get out of.
Nick, was she scheduled for video yet?
No.
Not yet, but once we do, it'll be a such a matter.
Tomorrow's a good day. Yeah. Student, you come up from the student.
Now, you're so easy.
Did you get all of that?
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
On behalf of myself, the science department, the other departments that have amazing group leaders that are involved in this, we have the art department, world language department, humanities, and then, of course, our administration that has been wonderful. I was explaining to Mr. Armstrong from the state of Connecticut that Norwalk is unique in the fact that they are so supportive of international opportunities for our students, and I would like to highlight that, and that is what this program has become. It's not a struggle for us to get support from at the building and at the central office level, and it makes it a lot easier for us that want to show our students the world. This program is the reason that I am a teacher. It renews my faith in teaching to be able to experience the world with my students and see them learning and growing firsthand. And it will keep me going until I retire in many, many years. But I also thank the students, because without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. And another wonderful thing is that last year, and again this year, we have been the recipient of grant funding through the district. So we are able to provide these travel opportunities for students at a much wider range of student now. So our goal is to make this program as equitable as possible, and we thank you for your support in allowing us to be able to do that. So thanks, guys.
Well, that was very heartwarming. I could feel her energy and the love that she has for this program, for the students. Thank you. Yeah.
Wonderful. I remember Caitlin, back when you were going to Galapagos Island back in the years ago, I remember you doing that,
Yes.
spearheading those trips, so I'm not surprised to see you there.
Yeah, that was an interesting meeting.
Thank you. Okay. Now I'm going to transfer the meeting to the superintendent for superintendent's report.
So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening. Before we move forward with the superintendent update, I would like to take a moment and offer a minute of silence for one of our educators who recently passed, but has been an outstanding member of our school community and has dedicated countless years of service to our children, and is missed, and also someone that's beloved by our community. We lost Lisa Caporino Lee a few days ago. We are in the process of creating a moment that allows the school community to remember her and remember all the great things that she did in the service of children. So we're looking forward to doing that in December with the approval of the board. But I think it's important to take a moment this evening and provide a moment of silence in recognition to the outstanding work she did for the children of Florida. Thank you. I'll move forward with the superintendent update. As part of the update, I would like to ask Ms. Sandra Bailey's to join me. Last week, we had the opportunity to provide a workshop update around facilities and operations, and the Little and Mighty team had an opportunity to talk about some of the projects and initiatives that are underway, and also speak to some of the work and work plan that lies ahead to support the continuous development of our facilities. I think there's been communication, we spoke about this during the workshops through social media, but also through some of the internal communication of parent concerns around certain facility concerns. And I think it's important to just restate some of the processes that we have in place in order to provide a kind of sequential and thoughtful process that allows us, one, to continue to maintain our facilities in the best possible state, but two, provide the administration an opportunity to really have a data inputting system that allows us to track what needs to be done in the building. So I'll turn it over to Ms. Bailey just to provide a quick update.
Thank you, Dr. Estrella, and thank you, board, for allowing me the time again to just keep adding clarity, hopefully, to this very important topic. One of the things that we want parents to know and staff to know and students to know is that we do have a process in place for when something occurs on a facility, whether it's in our school grounds or whether it's inside an actual facility, where there are several people that could place a work order, which we spoke about during our workshop. And that is probably the most effective thing that we could do. So when things do come up and we see either somebody posts it or somebody emails us directly, we always respond, but we respond and go back to the school and ask that school leader or the custodian or designee to enter a work order, because it actually allows us to track the work and assign the work adequately. And then at the end of the year, it actually allows us to, sorry, I'm distracted.
Sorry, go ahead.
Do you want me to exit out? To actually then quantify the amount of work that's been done at a certain facility. So it's for tracking purposes. I'll give you a good example. So during the last workshop meeting, we had a parent comment that came in written form, and those are obviously up on board docs. But it was a very extensive list of items that needed to be repaired at Tracy School. Bless you. Items that needed to be repaired at Tracy School, but because of our work order system, we were able to actually go back. We took the comments, we looked at them, and then we did an actual inventory, a walkthrough of all those spaces that had been noted during that public comment, and it was submitted again for public comment for an upcoming meeting. So we really did our due diligence and realized that 90% of the items that were listed in that public comment have actually been addressed. And we were able to to actually be pretty thorough with that investigation. And then the 10% of the items are items that is at the principal's discretion. And so then I emailed the principal and said, please make sure that these other items that are listed are entered into work order so that we can know that you actually want these things changed. And then we gave her further direction for how to engage with her families around some of those concerns. So that's just one example that I have, but that family should understand that they can always go to their principal or a staff member, not just families, and actually have that principal put in a work order, and then it logs it and it gives you a timestamp, which is also critical in my line of work for us to know how long things take to get repaired. And if they're not getting repaired, what is the reason? I know Dr. Moore just left, but some of the repairs at Norwalk High actually take a really long time because the facility is so dated that they no longer make certain parts for certain things. And so then we're able to actually provide an explanation of what the delay, of what is causing the delay. So I wanted to highlight that. Dr. Isaiah thought that it was important for me to bring that to this meeting so that we can actually have this process be communicated to our families, and I'm open for questions if you have any. Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandra.
Thank you, Sandra, for explaining that.
Thank you. One of the action items this evening is the proposed 2024 Board of Education meeting dates. It's in your packet, and there are some things that I would like to propose to the board to take into consideration as we, as the board votes on this matter. One is that the January meeting would fall on January 2nd, the workshop, which is right after our winter holiday of break. And we would like to propose maybe January 9th instead, given the proximity to the return from the holiday. Same thing with the business meeting that would potentially take place February 20th. We were proposing February 27th, so that it doesn't follow right after a holiday. Similarly, looking at the September 3rd date, also falling within close proximity to a holiday, and the April 16th date. So we're proposing the following Tuesdays as a result of that. And it's something that we would hope the board takes into consideration as we are mapping out, as you're approving the potential calendar. Any questions from the board about these recommendations?
No questions, but I know that for me, the team takes a lot of time prepping for our meetings. And I wouldn't want them to spend their holiday time home prepping, because as it is, they're working a lot, 24/7, and we're very thankful for all that you do.
Great, I think all these dates make sense.
Yes.
So it's something that I hope the board can take into consideration.
Yes.
With that, I'll turn it over back to you. Sure, it's in the copy.
Thank you. So we're in the action section of the agenda. So the first item on the agenda is the proposed 2024 Board of Education meeting schedule with those changes in red. Any questions, concerns? All in favor, say aye, raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Erica. So before we continue on the consent section, I am going to pass the meeting back to Dr. Strayer.
I'm sorry. Just one thing that I wanted to mention this afternoon, we sent out communication to families, providing them tips and suggestions of resources that are available to them if they need them, particularly because of what's happening in the Middle East and the escalation of conflict between Israel and Hamas. And we want to make sure that families that are impacted by this event, particularly because we have many families within our district that might have relatives or are directly connected with this part of the world, that they know how to cope with some of the challenges that the conflict is creating. So we have tools in supporting families and how to talk to children around conflict and war. We have different tools for parents to support students through this whole process, but also we have informed families as well as staff that we are here available and able to support, and we will extend counseling services if needed for those families that wish to acquire these services. And I thought it would be important to mention that. My apologies.
No, thank you, and it's important to know that, Norwalk Public Schools is not just about the education of the child, it's also about mental health and the welfare of the child and families. And I am thankful that we have these resources and extra counseling for anyone that's in need.
And I just wanted to say, as a parent of a student in the district, that I did receive an email from PTAC today with links to those resources, and I was thankful for that. And so thank you for making sure that that's being shared out with the community.
Okay, so now it's action consent section of the agenda. This is where we will vote on multiple items at once. We have approval of personnel, approval of budget transfers, approval of minutes, approval of trips. Motion to move all of these and vote on these together?
Can I make one comment?
Yes.
So one of the actions here is approval of trips, and one of the trips is to Qatar, which is in the Middle East. It's not until February, but I would like to make a comment that I think that we need to consider that, given what we just talked about, what's happening in the Middle East.
One of the things that we will be doing is constantly monitoring the alert from that region, and if for any reason there is concern, we will make adjustments to any trip.
Okay, I did see that the travel warning was appended to the agenda, and it is at a normal level right now, but we should definitely keep an eye on it, obviously.
Absolutely, we will. We actually spoke about that, that's why we included that piece. We typically don't, but we wanted to make sure the board was aware of what the state of the country is at this point in time, and if we need to make shifts because it's not safe, we will absolutely do that.
Great, thank you.
Any other comments, questions? All right, so motion to move all of the above together.
So
Marielle,
move.
seconded by Janine, all in favor, please raise your hand and say aye. Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Now we have committee representative reports. If there's any reports you want to share at this moment?
I didn't have anything specific to my committees, but I did want to share something that I thought was very positive, and I don't think that board members are aware of it, but I had a Rowayton resident reach out, a grandmother, who has a grandchild who is, I think, a kindergartner or first grader at Rowayton, and she and her family are vegan, and so she was wanting to understand how our school lunch menus work, because she really was not seeing enough variety and enough regular options for vegan lunches for students at Rowayton. And so I was able to work closely with this resident in Rowayton, and also Jill Kress, who I just wanted to call out. She was fantastic. We got on a call with this resident of Rowayton for about an hour, and it was very enlightening to me. I am not a vegan. But we are now at a point where the rest of our October menus and November menus for elementary, middle, and high school level, according to my friend Renee Waiton, who is an activist with Friends of Animals and really knows what she's talking about, let me know a couple of days ago that she was really impressed with how Jill and her team flexed and worked with Chartwells and to be able to bring these options to our schools. So that's something I want to call out.
Good that you brought that up, because that was part of our policy committee today,
Yes.
Marianne, and we'll let you know that they also discussed that there is a parent committee also on that group. So I'm sure that parent is going to be a part of that committee moving forward. And all
Jill was
the
there.
great work that they're doing with the gardens and teaching the children and following all the state mandates. Because we have to think about the children's health too there with foods and snacks and things like that.
Right.
So,
Yeah, and one of the interesting angles of it, which I hadn't considered, was equity and inclusion, right? Which is something that we're always trying to work on in the district. And I think it's not an area that we typically think about when we think about equity and inclusion, is people have different dietary and nutrition needs and preferences, and so we have to be equitable with what we're offering. So.
It's interesting that you say that, because
Yeah.
part of the, one of the principals training in the summer, part of the examples were around eating and foods and talking about how to recreate an equitable environment and understanding what that looks like when it's not something that's typical for you in your dietary
Exactly.
daily consumption.
And we talked about that, like these children not wanting to feel like they had to ask for something special, they're not seeing the options on the menu, it's the small little part. Now the menus they look more equitable.
Right. I'd like to continue on that theme of nutrition. I had, and Janine, also the opportunity to see and experience Connecticut Grows at Ponus Ridge, and it was amazing. First, we went out to the garden in the back of Ponus Ridge. They had one garden for vegetables and sunflowers, and then closer to the trees, a distance away, they had just a wild garden that was for pollinators. So butterflies and bumblebees were there. And then they gave us the story of one teacher, one science teacher, came up with this idea when he was working with students in one of the clubs, and he proposed it, and the principal told us the story that the principal said, well, just keep me in the loop, just keep me in the loop. So the teacher applied for grants, applied for this, and the weaving of Connecticut Grows with the federal food corps. And then we have, help me out with another local representative. So we now have not just a garden in this school, but we've connected with local farmers so that we're feeding local food to our children. And what we tried did include some vegan options, different ways of preparing carrots. We had to vote on that. But really putting food and physical health as a forefront, not as like a side issue in our education system, but and not just for the students, but for the teachers and the staff, that we all need to be concerned with our physical health, the food we eat and how we exercise, and that will loop into our mental health. So I guess we have a theme tonight, but very encouraging. I came home telling my family about it, just so happy to see all that work, and good.
thank you. Any other?
So good. I'll mention that the Board Finance Committee met yesterday, and Mr. Osmani provided us with an overview where we are in the budget to date. We're about 17% in, and he also gave us an overview on some of the key line items of the budget. Most importantly, we have started conversations with the city. We are scheduled to have a joint Board of Education Common Council meeting on October 18th. Mr. Asmani will be making a report as well as the city finance director, but the expectation is that we will be on a listening tour and really hearing from the public about what some of their concerns and comments are going forward for the next budget school year. And that's my report.
I have one thing I'd like to share, and maybe Janine add in, for the special learning workshop that occurred the last month. Most of them have been on Zoom, and this one was in person. 25 people
20-some people
showed up.
we had about, I'd say 15 or so in person and then about almost 30 online, I believe.
30 online, and let me see, where Bridget Adams was saying that she had tried many times to have parents come for a meeting and had been unsuccessful, and then with the help of Ralph and, just a number of things, pulled this together, and it was quite a dynamic situation in a most positive way. So Bridget does a great job of explaining how the learning goes and what the programs are, and then the parents asked some very serious questions, and she had good answers and assuring them how things actually went. And it was a wonderful thing. We all left saying probably have another one in person. Did you agree with that?
Oh, definitely. I thought it was very successful. I thought people felt heard and that they got information that they needed, but still want more information. There's so much to cover, so I think definitely going forward, we'll hopefully have something else soon.
Just a last touch on that. I've been to a few meetings to different places in the last week, and I've had two parents from that group come up to me, like it's like, hey, how are you? And I'm like, hello, and commented on how they felt included and that how much they appreciated their own child in that unique way, and that they felt heard. And so I was really, felt good about it.
I just have to circle back. I forgot to mention that joint Common Council Board of Education meeting will be at the Center for Global Studies at 7 o'clock on the 18th.
Mm-hmm.
How dare I not forget to mention the time?
7 o'clock at Global Studies, around the corner from where I live.
Okay. No more committee reports. Board member announcements. This is the section where the public gets to meet us in a more more personal level. So if anybody wants to share anything new or exciting that's coming on.
Boring this week.
Well,
I've been so busy. Excuse me. I've been so busy with meetings. But just a reminder that the pantry at the family center still needs food. Excuse me. So anyone that wants to help there, wants to drop off food, non-perishables, can do that during the day. And I don't remember one night they close later, if anybody can help me with that. Do we know what night that is? Thursday until 7, right?
all right, I have two things.
Go for it.
One is I've noticed that when I listen to the radio, I feel like dancing more than usual, and I credit that to having a 3-month-old baby in the house. I wake up in the morning, she's smiling, and it's just intergenerational living is pretty great. And then the last thing I'm willing to share is that next Friday, the 21st at 10 o'clock in Boston, I will be competing at the Head of the Charles in rowing, which is a international competition, about 6,000 votes will be throughout the weekend. But I count my blessings that my arms and legs keep working, and I'll be in a double, rowing as fast as I can for 3 miles.
Awesome. That's great.
That's very impressive.
Erica, anything to share on your end?
I'm good for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for being here this evening. Get a lot of information to go over. And motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Thank you. All right, thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night. Good night.